So you grew up in Alaska.
I did.
And did you pursue acting while you were down in Alaska, or did you?
I did. Well, so it's very cold up there during the winter, and sometimes there's really only a few outlets that you can do, but I danced a lot growing up, and I took voice lessons and did some musicals because that was the only outlet that I knew to do, that I wanted to do, if that makes sense. There were other things to do, obviously, but it's something I've always had a passion for ever since I was a little kid, and there were so many opportunities to do it up there. A lot of people don't think that there are, but there's great dance programs, there's great musical theater, there's great regular theater, I don't know what the proper term is, but plays, I guess, and lots of arts, and I think that that's great. You know, in the cold winter months, you gotta find something to do. So
That's right.
And I'm not an engineer, that's the other thing. The big things up there are engineering and coal and that kind of thing. So
I can't see you being a coal person.
maybe on television one day.
Yeah, maybe. In your autobiography.
Yes.
When did you make the leap to New York?
Well, I went to school first at Baldwin Wallace College, which is now Baldwin Wallace University. I don't know if upgrade is the word. I guess it's just by people, bigger school now. So Baldwin Wallace University, BUU as I call it. They have a wonderful musical theater program that's, people used to say was up and coming, and now it's come. It's fantastic. And I've been going to the showcases that the seniors put on in New York since I've graduated, and I don't think I would be accepted into that school again if I tried again. It's fantastic. They're great, and they'll be coming here again in April. But that's seeing sort of some videos online and that kind of thing is sort of what got me there in the first place. I had a buddy that I went to Interlochen with in Michigan my senior year, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio. And he said, if you want to get into musical theater, you should try this school. It's in my hometown. I was like, oh, yeah, I've never really heard of it, but I'll give it a shot. Being from Alaska, my opportunities were sort of limited as to, you know, if I made a trip out to see colleges, I had to really make it count, and that school worked out. The big sort of carrot at the end of the journey was coming here and doing a showcase. Here is New York City, and doing a showcase, hopefully getting an agent. And so the big move, to answer your question, was Fairbanks to Cleveland, Berea, Ohio. And then New York was the next logical step, and here we are.
Yeah, and along the ways you've racked up some good credits. Gossip Girl, you were on you had a pretty big role in Deception.
Yes.
Which was on NBC last year. And of course your role as Ford on
And
One Life.
Ford and One Life to Live, yeah.
What, I know you are also interested in doing stage, and your girlfriend is actually touring now.
She is, yeah.
What is one of the focuses now? You've been auditioning like crazy the last couple of weeks. Are you going in for roles that are different from what you played, or a mixed match of everything?
The focus right now is primarily film and television, mostly television, because we're in the middle of pilot season. So this is when a lot of networks are trying to cast their new shows. And things have been going well so far. It's tricky because sometimes you'll go in for a role and either it is or it isn't. It's just a matter of, are you that person when you walk in the room? And I've sort of realized that, yes, to be in this industry we have to be good actors, and that's something you always have to be working on. But there is something to be said for someone's personality coming through on the screen, and if they have a personality that translates to the screen. Jimmy Stewart, who I love reading about, talks about this a lot, and a lot of the great Golden Age actors talk about this a lot, that they develop a persona over time. And people have it today, like Tom Hanks, you know, you can see that he is Tom Hanks on screen, but he also does very well, transforms himself into certain roles, but allows his personality to come through, if that makes sense. So I'm just now starting to figure out the difference between being an actor and being someone who tries to illuminate myself through something that I've been given. And there are roles, you know, the bad boy or like last night, the stripper.
Right.
And there are certain things that this business requires of an actor to do that I've sort of realized, oh, this is my bread and butter right now, that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it the best that I possibly can. So there's no shame in that, in that sense.
Not at all. My follow-up question to that would be, how hard is it for you to disengage from David Gregory, the super nice guy, to these people that you're playing, and how do you portray that to the casting director? Do you work a certain way to get yourself in headspace? Because if you came in as David Gregory,
Sure.
you would not be getting douchebag roles.
It's a tricky thing because I used to think, I remember having this revelation in 2009, before One Life. I auditioned for this movie. It was the most recent James L. Brooks film called How Do You Know? It was about baseball players, a love triangle between Reese Witherspoon and I think Owen Wilson and Paul Rudd. And I remember thinking, I hadn't had a job in forever, and I was really struggling in New York, and I was like, I think what they need to see when you walk in the room, they need to see you be that person. They don't want an actor, they just want you to be. So I walked in, I'm supposed to play this cocky baseball player, I had my hat on backwards, was chewing gum, grew out my facial hair a little bit. You know, I was nice, but I thought I need to just show them that, and let that be who they think I am.
Right.
And I ended up getting the job. It was my first big job here, and was a wonderful experience. But since then I've realized that you still need to be who you are, because 99% of the time you're just going to be hanging out on the set. It's going to be long days, and it's going to be very difficult, and people have been working long hours. Tensions are high. They want to know that, can I hang out with this guy and be with this guy 24/7, even when things get hard, so that so that we know that he's a nice guy to be around.
Right.
And so you have to realize after a while that that's who I play, but this is who I am. And
right.
When you go in for these roles, you have to be who you are. And for me, I'm not that.
Yeah.
But I realized that worked that one time, but I also wasn't, walking in spitting tobacco on the floor, But, and there's all these cliches, it's like, oh, he's a baseball player, he must be chewing tobacco. No, he doesn't have to be doing that. But, so essentially what happened is, this is a business of, who you know, and people want to be working with people that they know, and people who are nice. And I think, you hear these great actors today that are wonderful to work with. Like I hear Hugh Jackman's very, nice and easygoing. It doesn't matter what's going on that day. He'll get into a character. He knows how to do what he's doing. But from what I've read, he's a gentleman, 24/7, and that's important. And that's who you will need to show, because that's who they're casting. They're casting the person playing a part.
Right. And I got a little chance to witness that in your film that should be coming out this year, Running on Empty.
Yes.
Where you played the jerk.
Yeah.
But you around set were fun, and you were joking around. And,
Oh man, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
We had such a blast. And the problem that I ended up running into was I was having so much fun with the guys who I was supposed to be up against in the movie that I couldn't keep a straight face in some of the scenes. And really, I asked the director, Joe, to. Josh Flitter is in the film,
right.
And he was hanging off camera just waiting for his entrance. And I literally asked him, and I've never done this, I've never been this person. I said, Joe, could you please ask Josh to go away until he comes in? Because I see him out of the corner of my eye, and I just want to start laughing.
Right.
The kid's really funny.
He is, he was.
So that's the thing. And also, specifically with that kind of a role, where he's so nice that he doesn't know he's being an ass.
Right.
It's kind of like the way I thought about it initially. Doesn't mean I was copying it, but it was the way I initially got into the idea. Was Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man is so charismatic and so kind of cocky and kind of rude sometimes, but you can't help but like him. And it's sort of this intriguing mystery that, wow, yeah, you're so mean, but I can't stop smiling.
Right.
That's who I think this guy is. And he means well, but he's just so mean. He means well. Hey-oh.
See, you can be a lyricist.
Yeah, in another life.
Yeah. In terms of the stage, what types of roles would you like to delve into, whether it be something you wrote, I know you write, and would you like to, obviously the answer is going to be yes to this, but would you like to work with Jen?
Oh yeah, of course I would. We've talked about that because we have friends, she's done more stage work recently than I have, and we have mutual friends of ours that sometimes they get hired as a couple to do a play like elsewhere. And so we're always thinking, wouldn't it be cool if one day we've never really worked together. I mean, we did in college, but that was in the infancy of our relationship, and now we've been together almost 6 years. And and so it would be nice. And now she's on tour, and that's wonderful. Our sort of rule is, if you get a job, you need to see that through and pursue that. But you know, obviously I miss her, and it's not easy sometimes. The first part of your question, it's always fun for an actor to lose themselves into something and for them to play something that's far away from themselves. And I feel like at my age now, there's a rarer opportunity for that. You know, late 20s, early 30s, there's an idea of what we should play, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And you know, I would love to delve into more character work, and I think that that's down the pike. But like I said, the focus right now has been in a very specific area. But the stage is where I started, and you'll talk to most actors, I think, would agree with me on that, or I agree with them, really. It's that stage is always what you want to go back to, because there's no cut, there's just go. Mm-hmm. You know, you rehearse it, and it's very cathartic to have a complete arc without stopping, hopefully without stopping.
What advice would you give to somebody who's either just starting out or somebody who's, you know, trying to climb that ladder, mm-hmm. To not get down? You're always very energetic to audition for mm-hmm. stuff. You're always very happy-go-lucky, at least when I see you.
Well, no,
you might be crying in your apartment.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, I do get down on myself because it is hard, and rejection's hard, and it's in any business, really, but it happens a lot in this one. And I mean, I just came from 2 auditions back to back before coming to see you, and they may go somewhere, they may not. But I had to be able to walk out of the room and go, wow, it was fun. Whew, glad I did that. Yeah. And then leave it alone because, I mean, or there's the, wow, that was really bad. I hope I never do that again. So, but allow yourself to make those mistakes. And I think the most important thing is to be consistent. Sometimes I've been in for the certain casting directors and, wow, I'm really not right for this part, but they're asking to see me. And I went in for one thing once and they said, well, we know you're not right, but somebody was asking to see you try this. And I was like, well, you take that opportunity and you can either say, well, forget it, because I know I'm not going to get this, or I'm really going to put everything I have into this. Mm-hmm. So that translates into other things, meaning it doesn't matter what the opportunity is. If you decide that you can learn something from it, then you better squeeze everything you possibly can out of that. When we were running on empty, for instance, I'm not a runner, and I started running a lot, and I think one of the guys on the film told me, he's like, you'll be fine. We're gonna run for about 15 seconds and then stop and then reset the camera, so you're not gonna. And I was like, yeah, but I have to be fast, and I want it to look like it. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's an independent feature, so we're all there for the same amount of money every day. Somebody asked me, they said, are they paying you to like get in this kind of shape? And I said, no, but one day someone's gonna see this movie and they're gonna go, oh, he looks like he belongs there, as opposed to, oh, he just phoned it in. So my thing is never phone in these opportunities because you never know what they're preparing you for. I don't know what's going to happen with running on empty. I had an absolute blast, and I think people are going to enjoy seeing it. Mm-hmm. But I know that next time I have to physically prepare for a role like that, because I've already done it in the back of my head, I'm okay. And this is not something I invented. This is, I was just reading about Patrick Stewart. I'm a big fan of his. He, you know, Captain Picard, right? Mm-hmm. And he initially felt very uncomfortable in the role and wasn't sure if he fit it, but then realized that all of his preparation doing the Royal Shakespeare Company, all the roles that he played there, the kings, the princes, whatever, prepared him for the regalness that captain's role required. Nothing is for naught. And I believe if you take those opportunities and milk them for all they're worth, then you really will have something. And it's so satisfying. Having said that, I mean, anybody will tell you to study and to make sure that you're, you know, always in it. There's never any missed opportunity to act, I feel like. Yeah, you know, in auditions, you're still acting, you're still performing. So that's a long-winded answer. It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Everybody's advice is valuable. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
Right, well, you know me, I like to...
So, thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I know we've talked many times.
Always a pleasure.
Many times
in
the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.